Coming to you live from my apartment, it's Rob Has a Podcast, and now here's a guy who's like a mix of Eddie Murphy and Terry Crews and Jim Parsons, Rob Cesternino. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Amazing Race 27 cast preview show. The Amazing Race is only 8 days away, premiering next Friday night. And we're very excited because we will be live once again after the show all season long with my Amazing Race wing person. Here she is, the host of the Amazing Race Canada wrap-up show. Here she is, Jessica Liese. Jessica, how are you?
I'm great, Rob. I am all of those celebrities you mentioned before with a little bit of Jet Li thrown in there for good measure.
Yes. All right, Jessica, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm really excited to finally be talking with you again. It feels like it's been forever.
We spoke a couple of weeks ago when we did an off-season podcast talking about some Survivor twists from around the world. But here we are, ready to talk about your bread and butter, The Amazing Race, and its return to fall TV this September, next Friday night.
Yes, it's triumphant return.
And a triumphant return to the non-blind date format.
Thank God all these people know each other already.
They all know each other. And Jess, I have to say, I didn't know a lot about the cast before I started doing my research on this. And I have to say, I am very pleasantly surprised because I really like this cast of 11 teams.
Yeah, we've got a lot of diversity. We've got a lot of interesting people. We have people that we haven't seen before 100 times. So that is... It seems like they really kind of threw some energy into casting rather than trying to pack it all into pigeonholes.
Yeah, no gimmick here in terms of what they were going to do for the season. And I have to say, I think I like all 11 of these teams. I don't think there's any real dud as far as the casting goes. I think this is going to be fun to get to talk to them. So I'm pumped up for this, Jess.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's get into it.
Of course, next week is premiere week on CBS, and of course, The Amazing Race is going to be kicking off this Friday, but not to be overlooked, Jess. This Wednesday is also the Survivor premiere. I don't want people to forget about that in the midst of all this Amazing Race excitement.
I'm fairly certain there is no danger of that, Rob.
And it's also an all-star season of Survivor. There's actually going to be returning players this season, Jess.
No way! Is anybody cool going to be on it?
Yeah, I hope no, nobody cool. But so anyway, that's going to be Wednesday night. So what we're going to do this upcoming Wednesday night, Survivor Know-It-Alls is going to be back live 9:45 p.m. Myself and fill-in Know-It-All this season, Josh Wigler, is going to be live with me. In place of Stephen Fishback, who's actually going to be on this season, if people didn't know. And so that's going to be very exciting. That's going to be at 9:45 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. And then at Wednesday night into Thursday morning, 12:30 a.m. Eastern, we're going to cover the Big Brother finale. And then we'll get into all of our amazing race coverage on Friday. But we'll also have our first boots from Survivor and the final three from Big Brother, all exit interviews on Thursday. And let me just announce before we jump into this for the first time, our Survivor recap guest for this upcoming week. Very excited for this because we're going to have somebody in studio, Jess. Yes, I got another microphone set up over here now. I'm very excited for this.
Boy.
And I will be speaking with, from Survivor Borneo, one of the tribe mates, one of the cast mates at the very least, with Kelly Wigglesworth. Jenna Lewis will be here on the podcast with me in person on Thursday. So very excited.
Oh, that's going to be cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, my former co-host from the Fishbowl days will be reunited for one afternoon to talk about the premiere of Survivor Worlds Apart. So a lot going on next week, premiere week on CBS for all the CBS reality shows. All right, so let's get into it, Jess, and let's talk about this. Before we talk about the individual teams, we'll go through them. Of course, Scott St. Pierre is following all of the action, hashtag RHAP. He's going to be bringing up some of the questions that you guys have about the specific teams as we talk about them. We'll go through them one by one in the order that they were listed on CBS.com, no particular order to us. And Jess, anything else you want to set up in terms of this season as a whole?
Well, I've got a couple of things that I want to throw out there while we're talking about the teams.
Great.
As you know, they have some underpaid intern at CBS whose job it is to generate a hashtag for each of these teams.
Yes. Oh, the hashtags are not very good this season.
They're like especially phoned in this season, and so it was suggested to me actually by one of the teams that's going to be on the upcoming season. It was suggested that we should try to put together our brilliant podcasting minds and try to come up with some better hashtags for everybody.
Great. I love this. I love this. Because, Jess, I actually felt like earlier this summer, the other podcast we did in summer 2K15 was when we did our Game of Thrones Amazing Race, which is up in the archives, up on RHAP as a podcast. And I thought we actually came up with some especially strong hashtags for the teams there. So we will try to outdo the CBS hashtag. And with a couple of exceptions, the bar is not particularly high for the CBS hashtags.
Yeah, no, you could probably step over the bar without exerting too much effort.
Yes. It would be a tough bar to limbo. We'll put it
Yes.
that way.
Yes, we'll put it that way.
Okay, so Jess, anything else big picture about the season, or you want to jump into talking about these 11 teams?
There's one more thing I think is worth noting, and you guys will see this when the premiere starts, but this was another live starting line situation where this happened, I believe, in Venice Beach was the kickoff for this season, and the public was invited once again to come and like see the racers off, because I think CBS has kind of realized that it doesn't really help them much to have a bunch of secrecy around the starting line and around who the teams are, because eventually we're going to find this information out anyway, and there is a dedicated team of people that are like creepily devoted to spoiling the entire season. So why don't they just give that information away at the beginning, and we can get excited for it ahead of time.
Jess,
and I do
please
know,
don't insult the people that try to spoil the season, because we don't want to get on their bad list.
No, we don't. They're great people. I know many of them
So
personally.
the wonderful people that spoiled is the
Yes.
handsome and attractive and intelligent people that spoil the season.
Since I was indirectly one of the people that spoiled part of Amazing Race Canada earlier this year, I'm one of them now. So
Wait, how did you spoil the Amazing Race Canada?
I had a college friend who was on vacation in India where Amazing Race Canada was filming, and she took a photo and sent it to me because she knew it was the show that I was really into, and it turned out that nobody knew where the Amazing Race Canada racers had gone, and I was able to uncover that information. So
Wow.
that's exciting.
Okay, so you're on top of it.
I'm on top of it, yeah. So anyway, there were several members of the RHAP community that were at this starting line,
Yes.
and I have it on good authority that if you scan the crowd when you see this, you're going to notice some RHAP bell shirt logos in the crowd.
Oh, good. Yes, good. Well, we will call them out all this Friday night as we see them. So we definitely appreciate the representation at the starting line of Amazing Race 27. Can you believe it? So let's get into all of this, Jess. And are you ready to kick this off with our first team?
Yes, let's get into it.
All right, here we go. Our first team here, it's Alex and Adam, and they are the Cousins.
Hashtag the cousins.
The Cousins, yes. So,
I mean, that's accurate. They are cousins.
yeah, so here's Alex and Adam, and they are cousins, and I believe they are longtime Amazing Race super fans. They have long talked about wanting to be on the Amazing Race together. Here they are with their opportunity in Amazing Race 27.
Yeah, and they are finally old enough, I think, was the issue. They said that they've been wanting to do it since they were 16, and they're now, like, of age, and they are able to compete on the race together.
Here they are. So they're actually 24 and 22, so I guess what is the cutoff? Is 21 the cutoff on the Amazing Race?
They say 21 to apply, but there have been younger racers, like there have been a couple that were 18 and 19. So I think they make special exceptions, but I believe the rules still say 21.
Okay, so here they are, and they are ready to go. They are cousins, and they both have a certain type of dwarfism. I want to make sure that I am getting all of the medical things correct.
Yes, that is correct, but I didn't write it down.
Yes, and in the video they talk about what that's called, and I didn't dare attempt to spell it, but here they are, and they're ready to go. And we have a little bit of a breakdown that they claim that Alex is the brawn and Adam is the brains.
All right, so that makes some sense. I mean, one of them was
Potential
apparently...
tie-in for future Survivor seasons.
Yeah, I guess they know what tribes they'd be on.
They know what to say in the pregame.
They sure do.
Yeah.
It turns out that Alex was actually a wrestling champion of some sort, I believe.
Like what
And
kind of wrestling? Like high school wrestling?
yeah, like high school wrestling.
Okay.
He made it to the state tournament for wrestling when he was in high
Not like a
school.
Robbie and Brooke type of wrestling.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
It might be something he's interested in pursuing, but he has not yet as of this moment.
Okay. Well, Jess, so let's talk about some of the interesting parts of Alex and Adam from their bio on CBS.com. There's also videos of each of them up on CBS.com. So Alex, he's a department supervisor in retail sales. 3 words to describe him are funny, a ladies' man, and courageous. Now, that is more than 3 words.
That's 6 words.
They always ask them, well, what celebrity reminds you of yourself? What celebrity reminds you of your partner? Do you like it or not like it when they match, where we have like that they both have this locked in the same answers?
Well, it depends. I think there are a couple, and we're going to get to some of the racers coming up, where it's clear that they spent more time strategizing what they were going to put on the questionnaire than they may have spent on the actual race.
Yes.
But in this case, I think if you really closely resemble a celebrity, or if there's one celebrity that people always say you look like, then your partner's going to say that and you're going to say that, and that doesn't bother me quite as much.
Yeah, Alex says Matt Damon reminds him of himself, and also Adam says that Matt Damon reminds him of Alex.
Yeah, and he does. He is a little Damon-esque. I can see it.
Damon-esque. Okay, should that have been the hashtag, Jess?
That's a pretty good one. Actually, Nick Fishman, I think, has the best hashtag for these guys.
Okay, all right.
I see in the chat room. We'll get to it. I just want to give you a shout out there, Nick. I like where you're going with that.
Okay. And so the pet peeve that he has about Adam is that Adam plans everything out and overthinks everything. The thing that Alex is the most scared about traveling is getting completely lost. Seems like a totally valid concern. In terms of Adam, that 3 words to describe him are dependable, lively, and enthusiastic. He moved to Los Angeles when he was 18 years old. He also, what person reminds him of himself? Adam Devine.
And now, who is that, Rob?
Well, I was like, is this a typo? Did he say Adam Levine?
That's what I thought too, but
yes.
I didn't Google it.
See, now, I'm not a Workaholics fan, but I feel like that Adam Devine, from what I understand, is one of the people on Workaholics.
Okay, yeah, I see where he's going with that now. Yeah, that makes sense.
And his pet peeve about his partner is that he puts things off to the last minute, and he likes to plan things out. So it's a little bit of, we have that in true brains versus brawn fashion. Adam likes to plan, but Alex leaves things to the last minute.
Oh, they're so different. They're cousins, but they're different. They've got so much in common, but they're so different. They're a study in contrasts, Rob.
They truly are. All right. So, Jess, what's your read here on hashtag the cousins?
Well, I think they are enthusiastic about being on the race, which always counts for a lot in my book. I think their very different approaches to the race may get in their way, and they seem like the kind of people that might argue with each other, and I'm just kind of basing that on the fact that when somebody lists a pet peeve, that's a very genuine pet peeve, and you can kind of see where that might come into play on the race. You can tell that there's going to be some arguing going down. So I could see these two maybe not getting along as much as they thought they would.
Okay. Now, the cousins, in contrast to last season with the blind date Amazing Race, we saw that the people that were sort of, had just met each other, sort of started off and they tried to really make things work. Whereas the people who were the existing couples, they really just got into it. Like one little thing could sort of set them off in terms of having a big fight. Do you think that we'll see the cousins sort of implode at any point?
Well, I can see familiarity breeding a little bit of contempt in this situation. They've known each other their whole lives. They've been very close. I could definitely see them thinking they've got it all figured out and then finding out that they really, really don't.
But I think I like cousins more so than brothers because I feel like that brothers have like a bit of baggage there, like that's about mom always liked you best, you're the favorite, like, well, dad made me do this, and but I feel like cousins don't have that. They're able to. There's the family bond, but not necessarily the baggage, and especially these guys seem like they're the same age and stuff like that. I'm not sure if one of them like really comes off as the favorite one in the family. I feel like they're on equal footing.
Yeah, that's true. And in fact, I went on vacation this summer with my same age cousin who could not be more different from me, and we had a great time.
Yes, like I don't see this being like an Aris and Vetus type situation.
Right, right.
Even though they're also a study in contrast.
Yes, they couldn't be more different either. I have these guys kind of in the middle. I have the up arrow and the down arrow and the horizontal arrow, and these guys are definitely a horizontal arrow for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't see anything that sort of jumps out that like, oh, I feel like really great about these guys, and anything that's like, red flag, I'm worried about these guys. I agree. I think arrow is pointing east and west.
Indeed.
In true Amazing Race fashion. All right,
it
Jess,
looks like the detour symbol.
If we're going to rebrand, though, the Cousins is sort of a lame hashtag.
It is. So I've got a couple of suggestions we can go with here.
Yeah, I wish I knew we were going to do this. I would have been working on this all day. I would have just cleared my schedule to work on hashtags.
Well, I wanted your spontaneity, Rob. And I also thought that, maybe you had better things to do than come up with hashtags often.
No, I would clear the day for that.
Okay.
Hashtags is the most important thing, Jess.
All right, so because their names are Adam and Alex, my good friend Nick in the chat room suggested that they should be the A-Team, which I like very
A-Team,
much.
I love that. Okay.
I could also go hashtag they're so different. And
I think that's a little long.
It's a little long. A lot of the hashtags I came up with, because here's the particular challenge of a hashtag, Rob, is that, and I've noticed this on message boards and on Twitter, you have to come up with something that people look at it and they know exactly who you're talking about right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
But it should also be clever, and I think that's a hard line to tread, because I've seen people try to come up with hashtags for teams in previous seasons, and I have no idea who they're talking about, and I see the same hashtag over and over again. I finally have to give in and ask, who is that? I don't understand your joke.
Right.
So we got to be very careful here. It's a fine line to tread.
So I like the A-Team. A-Team is cute, but I feel like if there's going to be a lot of people that see the A-Team and they are going to be wondering where like B.A. Baracus is and Mr. T and all these people.
I pity the fool that spends too much time thinking about that.
And face, right.
Yeah. I could suggest hashtag, if they are the kind of people that argue with each other a lot, that lose their temper often, we could call them hashtag short fuse.
Oh, I do like that. I worry, again, I don't know if you want to, like, I feel like if it comes from them, that's okay.
You're
I
right.
don't want to brand them with an insensitive hashtag that they don't want.
That is a fair thing, and I want everybody to want these hashtags
That's clever,
more than
though.
the ones they were given.
That is clever.
Yeah. I didn't spend all afternoon on this either, Rob. I'm kind of flying blind.
All right, and Damon-esque, definitely. That's in the running for hashtag for this podcast.
Yeah. If they want Damon-esque, they can have that one too.
Yes. Okay. We'll go with the A-Team for our default hashtag for these guys.
Okay. The A-Team.
All right. Strong start, though.
Yeah.
Alex and Adam, we'll see how it goes for them here, because I know that this is going to be. I think they're going to be fan favorites.
I think so. I think we're really going to like these guys. We're going to want them to go far. I'm not sure that I see them going all the way, but I can definitely see them defying a lot of preconceived notions.
All right. Let's go to our next team, which is the team Chalk Attack?
Yeah. And you know what? I think this might be a new JL rule that these guys have coined. If you want to choose your own hashtag,
right,
get it printed on all your clothing before you go.
Yeah. You want to leave it up to CBS? Or do you want to be the author of your own fate and make your own hashtag?
Yeah, I mean, in all fairness, Mike and Rochelle tried to do that. Like, they had a hashtag on all their clothing, but CBS was like, no, you're the Truck Stop Love people. So it could go either way. Like, CBS could overrule you, but if you have one ready-made, their intern might be just bored enough to go with it.
Yeah, so I think you definitely want to. By the way, Jess, Amazing Race alumni Brendan and Rachel announced last night on Big Brother that they are going to be expecting a baby.
A little
Big
mini
news.
Brenchel. Wow,
Yes.
congratulations to them.
And Julie Chen gave them a baby gift, which was a onesie that said hashtag Team Brenchel, and she said that that was a suggestion for the baby name.
I don't think they should call the child Brenchel. I think you might as well just name, yeah, Team Brenchel.
Brenchel would be the middle name, I believe.
Oh, I see. So T. Brenchel Riley Villiams.
Yes.
Okay, well, I think they're going to come up with something better than that. They're creative people.
No good? And all of a sudden that makes the cousins look pretty strong?
Yeah, that's making the cousins look pretty strong. But I wish them all the best. I'm very excited to hear that they are moving forward with this plan.
Okay. So I'm a little confused. Are we saying it like, is it like Chack Attack?
Yeah.
So we're saying it Chack. They're
Chack.
the Chacks.
They are the Chacks.
Okay. Rick Chack and Cindy Chack. Here they are. He is an OBGYN. She's a dentist. So many dentists on CBS reality TV these days, Jess.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's like a secret network. It's kind of like, it's like how people used to hang out at Belly Bar back in the day. Maybe now there's like a special dentist bar where they're getting all these people.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe something like 4 out of 5 dentists have been on CBS reality TV this year.
Yeah, no kidding. But then this kind of opens up like we got a ding, marry, kill right out of the gate here.
What, in terms of dentists?
Yeah, we got Johnny Mac, we got Jim, we got Cindy.
Yeah. There you go. Well, again, when cross-gender are always the trickier ones to do.
Sexuality is a spectrum, Rob.
Yeah, well, that's what makes it so tricky because it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
But anyway, Jess, so here they are. Is it that it's so easy in your casting video to say that, like, well, I know this is going to be like pulling teeth, but that's what I do all day long?
Yeah, I could see that. Or, you could use it as your platform to, like, promote dental hygiene.
Yeah. All right, so here we are. Here they are. They met online, Cindy and Rick. And Rick is a big fan, and he felt like that once he got an attractive wife, they would definitely take him on The Amazing Race. Is there some new term that we need to come up for this where it's not a trophy wife, but it's a wife who's attractive enough that you know you'll get cast on a CBS reality show once you marry this person?
I feel like there should be a term for this, and honestly, it's the greatest pickup line I've ever heard. It's like, baby, you're hot enough to be on a CBS reality show. Let's get married and go on The Amazing Race.
Yeah.
I would fall for that. I don't know.
Like, I'm dying to be on The Amazing Race, but, they already did the blind date thing, and I'm single, and they're never going to take just me, if any of my stupid friends or anything like that.
I'm not going to make the blind date cut.
Yeah. If I could just get you to marry me, if we could just shack up, and actually, that's a great name for our hashtag, Team Shack Up.
Yeah, there you go. Well, there's some pretty good ones.
Happened?
There's been some pretty good ones in the chat room, too. I like Plaque Attack.
Oh, save them for the end. Save them for the end,
right.
everybody. Don't get ahead of yourselves.
All right.
All right, so let's talk about them. So we have, of course, let's start with Cindy. She is the dentist. There's a perception of people that have the dentist that she's a scary dentist, but she's not a scary dentist. She sees herself as Drew Barrymore in her many romantic comedies.
Okay. Can I just comment? Here's a global comment on Team Chack Attack. Boy, they filled out a lot of stuff on their questionnaire. This is the longest questionnaire. I tried to shrink them all down so they were all on 1 page each, and these guys were over 2 when I pasted them in.
Yeah, they have a lot to say. This is really wacky. It's a wacky Chack Attack here.
It's a whack attack.
What famous person reminds you of your teammate? Cindy said, the person that reminds me of my partner is Edward Cullen from Twilight.
That's not a famous person, that's a fictional character.
Oh, there's a lot of those.
Yeah.
But she goes on. Pale, really, really pale, glistening skin, thin, blazing eyes, but his love is returning. Maybe, should they be Team Drac Attack?
Oh, is he sparkly though?
She says he has glistening skin.
Glistening skin. I don't know.
Yes.
Should probably get that looked at. Probably knows
Yeah.
some dermatologists. He's a doctor.
Yes. I think that is that appealing to that would you recommend to your friend a gynecologist who is like Edward from Twilight?
Well, no. I mean, on the
Why?
plus
What's
side,
unappealing about that? The cold hands?
yeah, they're really cold hands. That's a rough one. I mean, on the plus side, vampires in the Twilight universe do not sleep, so you know that
He's
whatever
on
time of day
call.
you go into labor, he's going to be there to catch your baby with his cold, glittery hands. But I don't know. I don't think I want Edward Cullen as my OBGYN.
All right. Speaking of Rick, the OBGYN, again, he says, I'm an OBGYN. I catch babies, and no fooling, usually in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I'm saying, vampires nocturnal. It's a good fit, but I don't like the other half of his job description because it seems like there's a lot of things that OBGYNs do. Why did he choose this particular one to highlight?
That he takes out uteruses.
Yes, and is it uteruses or is it uteri?
He would know,
Yeah,
and I think that I don't know what his area of, especially if he deals with things like hysterectomies and stuff like that.
yeah,
Again, I don't know what his ultimate specialty is, and we don't need to go too far down that rabbit hole.
yeah. Let's stay out of that particular.
Yes, he likes karaoke,
Okay, well,
and,
he'd get along with our crowd.
and so they asked him, "What famous person reminds you of yourself?" He has perhaps one of the most interesting ones we've ever heard. He says he is like Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory and Short Round from Indiana Jones.
I like it. I can see it. That's not only amusing and esoteric, but also accurate.
If only Short Round was there with him when he met Cindy, he would say, "No time for love, Dr. Chack."
Haven't we done enough Indiana Jones riffs on this podcast?
Listen, lady, you call him Dr. Chack. You don't call him Rick.
All right. Take it from Short Round.
And now they asked him, what famous person reminds you, your partner and he said his partner, Cindy, is like a mix of Jennifer Aniston and Katniss from the Hunger Games.
Okay.
Boy.
I guess that would be. Katniss has a good skill set for the Amazing Race, so maybe she's well suited.
Yeah. And between all of the Twilight and Hunger Games references, Cindy and Rick really have the same interest as a middle school girl.
Yeah, they're reading far below their grade level.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about them. And his pet peeve about Cindy is her messiness. Her hair is everywhere. Sometimes she cries over the smallest things. Well, that sounds good. We like that.
That sounds like, yeah, I have these people pegged as the token bickering team of the season.
Good. I like that.
Like, I can tell they have some very detailed pet peeves about each other, which suggests to me that they're things that they've thought about a lot. And also, they seem to be saying, like, Rick's comment is, the past year has been difficult, and we need something like the Amazing Race to find each other again. You should never, this is a JL rule, this is like one of the first jail rules. Don't go on the show to work out your issues.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tricky.
And it never works out for people. Like, all of these couples that go on thinking they're, they may not stay together unless they do really well on The Amazing Race. Even when they do well on The Amazing Race, a lot of them end up not being together anymore.
Yeah. If you're having marital issues, it's like, don't have a baby, don't, like all these things that you think are going to fix it. You got to work on the problem. Don't just distract it with a different, more pressing, urgent problem.
Yeah, Phil Kogan is not a marriage counselor.
No, he's not. But let's talk about the prospects for Cindy and Rick. You think that they're going to bicker.
Yeah.
Does that mean you feel like that they will not do well?
I don't see them being the first team out. I think they have a good handle on what the race is going to entail. But I don't necessarily see them being real threats to win. So I got another horizontal detour arrow for these guys.
But I feel like this is a season where we have a lot of same-sex teams that are set up here, and I wonder if there's always going to be a dating team or a married team that's going to be particularly good. So I guess are you out on them and you're looking to the other couple team?
Yeah, I don't think this is that team.
Okay. All right. So you think that I think that they're going to be good. I mean, they're both smart. He knows the show. If they cannot fight with each other, I guess I'm probably higher on Cindy and Rick than you are.
Yeah, I think you might be. I think we have seen time and time again that being really into the show doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be good at the show.
Okay.
I think they're going to be great television. That's
right.
not in doubt, but I don't know how I feel about them as racers.
All right. How do you feel about their hashtag, which is Chack Attack?
This one I have in my notes. Play stands is called, but
Play stands is called, yeah, under review. You don't like Plaque Attack better?
Plaque Attack's pretty good. I saw Team Baby Tooth in the chat room because you got
Tooth.
the OBGYN and the dentist.
Yeah. I think Chack Attack is fine. We're fine. Yeah. This is actually one of the stronger hashtags that we have here on the board.
And it's because CBS didn't come up with it.
Yeah. All right. And, of course, as we go through, for those of you guys watching live, if you want to get your comments into the show, use hashtag RHAP, not hashtag RHAP attack, hashtag RHAP, and then we will pull your comments and take them onto the show when you have them, okay? So remember that for moving forward, because we are moving along, and it's time to talk about it's time to talk about Team Alabama.
Team Alabama.
So it's Team Alabama, Denise and James. Are you ready for this?
If they can't figure out how to compress their relationship into a hashtag, they just call them where they're from.
Yeah, that's it. And I don't know if this is necessarily the representative Team Alabama.
Not really. They seem fairly unorthodox.
Yeah, but here they are. They're representing the great state of Alabama, Denise and James. She is straight, as she tells us, but he is gay.
They could not be more different.
The sitcom writes itself.
It's true. I thought it was interesting that his name is James Earl, but she is very conservative, and they're not from Georgia, so I'm not sure that he is... It's got to be coincidental that he's got the same first and middle name as President Jimmy Carter.
Yeah. I'm not sure. That might have been lost on Denise.
Maybe. But, he's about the right age for her to have been, she is the right age to have remembered President Carter fondly and maybe name her child after him. But it doesn't jive with the politics that she seems to be espousing. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, he's James. That's Jimmy. Maybe she didn't put that combo together.
Maybe.
But anyway, here they are, Team Alabama, and so... She had a lot to say about how he came out to the family. I guess that she was on vacation, and he just called up and said, "Mother, I'm gay."
No preamble.
No preamble. He just went right into it. And I think that he was just telling everybody. I think that Mom wanted to just continue to talk about it, but he just wanted to get it out there. So he is a doctor, correct, James?
Yeah. He is a doctor. Well, he's a resident now, so he's almost a full doctor.
Yeah.
He's got the med school degree, and he's doing his residency, and then he'll be a doctor.
All right. So about him, his hobbies are running, baking, and watching movies. It's funny how that works. The more you bake, the more you have to run.
Right, and you can watch movies while you bake.
Yeah. They asked him, what famous person reminds you of yourself? And again, the synergy is working because Jim Parsons.
This is just like last season when everybody said their dream date was Cameron Diaz.
Yeah. Now, is it better to say that you are like Jim Parsons or better to say that you are like Dr. Sheldon Cooper?
Well, I know who I'd rather hang out with.
Who?
I would much rather hang out with Jim Parsons.
Why? Because he's rich?
Well, because he's not incredibly annoying. Sheldon Cooper... Basically, one person can tolerate living with the guy.
But does James actually know what Jim Parsons is like?
Probably, because Jim Parsons is he's a pretty prominent figure in like gay Hollywood.
Okay. I had no idea that that people knew a lot about Jim Parsons behind the scenes.
Yeah, well, he came out like maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, he's been in the spotlight ever since, I think.
Yeah. I just feel like he's always playing Sheldon even in like Intel commercials. So I feel like that people don't know a lot about what he's like off camera.
It's interesting. Like I've seen him at awards shows being kind of out of character. And
yeah. So
he talks the same, but he doesn't act the same.
They asked James, what famous person reminds you of your teammate? He says his mom reminds him of Kelly Pickler.
That's an interesting choice.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. I feel like that's a very weird statement to say. My mom reminds me of Kelly Pickler.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it, to be honest. Like, maybe I'll catch it in the mannerisms at some point, but it's been a lot of years since that season of American Idol, so I'm not sure I'm going to be able to pick up on it either way.
Okay. So
it's a very oddly specific reference.
In terms of Denise, who reminds you of yourself? Julia Roberts.
Okay.
And who reminds you of your son? Doogie Howser, MD.
That seems accurate.
Yeah. So they asked also, here's a little bit of a Kelly Pickler answer from Denise. What scares you most about traveling? She says, I'm so afraid of losing my luggage, but more importantly, my lipstick.
It's rough when you lose your lipstick.
Also, they asked her, what's your pet peeve about your teammate? I feel like this is also another odd comment for a mom to say about her son. He's too picky about keeping the house clean and gets mad when someone, quote unquote, messes it up, even though I'm just using the restroom.
I don't want to know what she's doing in there. That's not okay.
Yeah, what is she messing it up?
And on either end of that, that's irrational. Like on one end, it's like, what exactly are you doing that messes it up? And on the other end, it's like, that's what a bathroom is for. You need to like lighten up, dude.
Yeah.
Like, let people use it for what it is.
Especially just like your mom. Like don't get on your mom too much about messing up your bathroom.
Yeah, I think that leads to some awkward conversations that I frankly wouldn't be ready to have with my parents.
Yeah. All right. So Scott, tell me, we got some questions about Team Alabama. Let's go here. Let's start with Doug, who says, was the picture of Denise and James taken from an Under Armour promo magazine, or did CBS take it?
I would guess that
they're ready to go.
Yeah, they are. They've got the moisture-wicking technology working in their favor.
Yeah. So Mr. Air Sonic wants to know, Denise and James, for the new iconic parent-child team, could they be the new prototypical parent and child team?
They could be. We got to see how they do.
Yes.
And we got to see how they act around each other, because I think they've got potential. Like, they've got some big personalities in action. They've got some conflict there, but they also have what appears to be a pretty strong bond.
Okay. All right. So let's start to talk about our new hashtag for Team Alabama. Now, it seems like from the interviews, James wanted to be hashtag Team Pretty in Pink.
Yeah, that was what I have written down here. Like, he suggested that as their hashtag, and
however,
I like it. They are the pink team.
Are they the pink team? I feel like they're the red team.
I think
kind of
that's your monitor, Rob. They're they're like magenta.
Magenta. Okay. All right. Well, anything
we could call
else?
them Team Magenta. That's a pretty good hashtag.
Team Magenta. So for Denise and James, anything else that you want to try to label them with?
Yeah, I have hashtag Motherboy.
Motherboy. But is he a mother boy?
I don't know. I see a mother and a son, a mother and an adult son dressed exactly alike, and that's where my brain goes. They could compete in the mother boy competition.
Also, in terms of James, any chance that we could fix him up with Kurt from last season?
You know, he's still looking for love.
Yeah.
I don't know what James's, relationship status is, but I think both Kurt and Bergen are looking for that special someone, and
All
I
right.
think it's got about as much of a chance of succeeding as Kurt Bergen did.
How are you feeling about Denise and James?
I think they're going to go further than some teams that look stronger than they are. Like, I think they're going to be one of those teams that surprises us by how well they do, but I do not see them as real contenders to win.
No, I don't think so. I feel like that this is one of the teams I feel like is going to struggle the most. I'm seeing some pink flags here.
Yeah.
Magenta flags are
Magenta
being
flags.
raised. Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see with Denise and James. I think they're going to be good TV.
Yeah, I think we're going to like them a lot. This is
Okay.
going to be a team that we're going to want to go far just because we want them on our TV.
Well, let's talk about team number 4. And here they are. It's Ernest and Jin. Ernest, a.k.a. Enoch.
Yes, that is his swag name.
It's a swag name. What is he, like a big Boardwalk Empire fan?
Yeah, maybe. Although, I got to say, this might be in the JL nomenclature rules. Don't put a silent letter in your swag name. Because I kept looking at it when I first saw his name. I kept looking at it and thinking he was called Eknock. And I was like, what the hell is Eknock?
Jess, what's your swag name?
I don't have a swag name. I'm the whitest person on the planet.
You need to get one.
Yeah, I'll work on that, Rob. If
Yeah.
someone wants to suggest one, I'm all ears.
Yeah. I've got many swag names.
I'm sure you do.
Bad boy of podcasting.
Yeah, Arcesty.
Yes. So many. So many. All right. So let's talk about these guys. I love these guys.
Yeah, these guys are
Ernest and
great.
Jen.
Like,
Yeah.
we have never had a team like these guys before.
All right. So they're talking about now. They are they brothers? These guys?
Yeah, they're brothers.
Okay. They're throwing me off with Ernest, Philip, and Jin Lao in terms of their names.
Yeah, I think one or more of them may have changed his name at some point.
Okay. Yeah. So here we are. They are very hardworking men. Ernest, I believe, has 4 different jobs. He is a dance instructor, a hotel maid / stock boy. He provides home care for brain trauma patients, and he's a certified personal trainer.
That's a lot of hats.
That's a lot of hats. Also, then we have Jin, who is also has a couple different occupations by trade. He's a stock boy. He's a dancer. He goes to school. So both these guys are pretty hard workers. They seem to need the money. It seemed like they had a house, at least Jin did, but then they couldn't afford it anymore. I want to know this from you, Jess. In your history of studying The Amazing Race, the team that needs the money, does that translate to success on the race?
Need very rarely has anything to do with it. Although, I think we're mixing up correlation and causation here. I do think that if we find out that a team really needs the money, and this is going to depend on how much, when the show actually starts up, how often are we reminded that these guys need the money? And I think that is going to give us some insight into how well they did.
Speaks to winner edit, you feel like?
I think it does speak to a winner's edit.
Because on the one hand, I like the drive. I like the fact that they need the money. I like the fact that we have that Ernest is working for jobs, because it speaks to me that he's not lazy, and it feels like that he's a real go-getter, a real mean motor scooter.
He is a self-described hustler.
Yeah, I like that. I like the hustle.
I do. I appreciate the hustle.
I like hearing from people from my Amazing Race teams. I feel like they're working hard. They're stopping at nothing. They have goals, and they're driven. So I really do like the drive with these guys. But I wonder if it's something that people who are not necessarily driven but maybe have already had more success in life tend to be better on the Amazing Race.
Yeah, I have written down that they may be a little out of their depth. And I think, like, if we're going by, like, the archetypes that I came up with, 2 years ago when I was preparing to do a cast preview with you for season 22, the first
one we ever did, Josh.
The very first one we ever did. I came up with these 11 archetypes, and I would put these guys as fish out of water.
Fish out of water, uh-oh.
Yeah, that doesn't bode well. Like, those teams tend to sometimes go surprisingly far, but they don't tend to win.
Let me tell you something I know about Ernest. Ernest, he loves the ladies. He talks about women a lot in his bio. 3 words to describe him. He describes himself as unique, sexy, and athletic. He
Okay.
also talks about how he wants to go to Spain because of beautiful women and food. What excites you most about traveling? Seeing exotic women.
Yeah, he does love the ladies.
He does. And actually, the pet peeve that Jin has about him is that his cockiness and the way he always lets women get in the way. Get in the way of what?
Um, I don't know. Maybe get in the
Well,
way of the hustle.
yeah, I guess so. How
I
does he have time for women? He has 4 jobs.
Yeah, no time for love, Dr. Ernest.
Dr. Chalk. Yeah.
Um, I love their famous person references
Yeah,
so
what
very, very
set those
much.
up?
Well, Ernest says that the famous person that reminds him of himself is Lil Wayne,
Okay.
but the famous person that reminds him of his teammate is Blanca from Street Fighter. And
Yes.
I love me some well-timed Street Fighter references.
And what about what Jin says Ernest reminds him of?
This is well thought out. Now, Jin gave this some serious consideration here. He says that the famous person that reminds him of himself, and again, he's mixing up fictional characters and famous people, which is a problem with this cast, but
Sure.
he says he is a combination of Captain Jack Sparrow and the Hulk mixed together with a little Jet Li on the side.
Yes. But what about, and then his specific comparison for Ernest?
Eddie Murphy and Terry Crews mixed together.
Wow. That sounds like a pretty cool guy.
Yeah, I would hang out with Eddie Murphy and Terry Crews mixed together.
Yeah. So there you go. That's Ernest and Jin. A couple other things about these guys. So Jin, again, really into the video games as well. That his favorite accomplishment was his ranking in Call of Duty 3, 25th in the world. Jess, what's your ranking in Call of Duty 3?
How many people are on the planet, Rob?
I think it's about like 7 billion.
Okay, I am 7 billion.
Hey, you're right there.
I'm right there. Like, you
You're
look
right
it up,
there.
man.
Yeah. So he's in school for filming and photography, and he hopes to visit China because that's where Jet Li is from.
Does he think he's just gonna run into Jet Li on the street?
I think so. It's like, do you guys know Jet Li?
Yeah, there's a billion people
love
in
him.
China.
Yeah.
I mean, the chances that he's gonna run into Jet Li seem kind of slim.
Yeah. And all of those billion people are better at Call of Duty than you are.
It's true.
They're all ranked ahead of you.
They are all ranked ahead of me. I noticed a couple of other things, like from their video. Ernest says he does not like planes.
Yes.
That's going to be a problem on The Amazing Race.
It was a problem for Mr. T also.
Was it really?
I think so. I think they had to drug him to make him go to sleep.
Okay.
But that's not their hashtag.
That is not their hashtag. They have their own hashtag that they came up with.
Yes. What is it?
Too swag, too furious.
I love that hashtag. That's so much better than hashtag the dancers.
Yeah. How did CBS not use this?
Copyright infringement.
I don't think anybody's going to get after The Amazing Race. I think
You don't think Vin Diesel is going to sue CBS over Too Swag, Too Furious?
I think Vin Diesel would recognize it for the loving tribute that it is.
Yes. So, the dancers, I don't really get the dancers. I know these guys can dance, but are they professional dancers? I feel like that when I saw that they're the hashtag the dancers, like, oh, these guys must be like in some dance troupe together. But it did not seem like that was a big part of their story.
Yeah, maybe they're a two-man dance crew. Which
I don't really know.
Also, incidentally, would be a great hashtag for them. They say that they dance. Jin said that he dances at parties and bar mitzvahs.
Oh.
So I think professional dancing, like any kind of professional dancer, is going to have a hard time making ends meet just on the dancing alone. So everything else that they do in like the hustling department, I think that is all in service of the dance career.
Okay. How are you feeling about these guys, Ernest and Jin?
To be honest, Rob, not good.
Not good. Oh, no.
They might be contenders for first ones out.
Yeah, do they have a lot of travel experience? No, right?
No, not
They don't
really.
like to fly.
They don't like to fly.
I feel good about them, but then I start to think it through, and I think I'm with you. I feel like maybe I don't see big things in their future. But, going back to last season when I picked Jonathan Knight, I said I like the male-male team that can dance because I feel like the thing that always trips up the male-male team is when they have to learn, like, some choreographed dance. And I feel like that's not going to be a problem for these guys. So inherently, I feel like this is a male-male team I should feel good about. And I love that they're hardworking and stuff like that, but I do feel like maybe that's not going to go great for them. I'm rooting for them though. I like these guys.
Yeah, I like them too. I think they're going to be really entertaining for however long they're on. I also think there's a great danger that if they run into a dance challenge, they might 5-hole it.
No, I don't see that happening.
Voting them team most likely to 5-hole.
I don't see it. And they have so many different jobs that they could 5-hole also.
That's true. There's like a whole list. So this is why, like, if you think about it in game theory terms, Rob, there are more possible things that they could 5-hole on.
Yeah. I hope it goes well for Ernest and Jin. I'm also worried about they could get, if there's women around, Ernest is going to be distracted.
Yeah, and there are some pretty ladies running the race this season.
There are. All right. So probably we say arrow pointing downward at a 45-degree angle?
Yeah, roughly 45 degrees.
All right. Let's talk about our next team and maybe two of the temptresses that might distract Ernest along the way. Let's talk about team the Track Stars.
All right. This is Jasmine and Danielle.
Jasmine and Danielle, they met up at a track meet at UC Riverside. They're both master track racers. Jasmine has her master's degree, so they're smart, they're fast. Jasmine works as a LA Galaxy squad girl.
Actually, Rob, I have an update on that.
Oh, update. Hold on, Jess. Let me just get the breaking news ready to go.
Breaking news are happening now.
Jessica Liese has an update on Jasmine and her occupation. Jess, what's going on?
Jasmine is now working for the Golden State Warriors.
Oh!
So congratulations. It seems like an upgrade from LA Galaxy. I mean, I don't really know sports ball, but that's what it seems like.
Yeah, wow. So LA Galaxy. Is the LA Galaxy, that is the professional soccer to go to an NBA franchise? I'm going to say that's an upgrade.
Yeah, that's an upgrade to me.
Upgrade.
And Golden State, they're riding high because, they went all the way last year.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah. So there you go. So update on Jasmine. Congratulations. We also have here Danielle, and she's still a student at UC Riverside, and this is her last season. So this is sort of like they're friends, but one has graduated, one's moved on.
Yeah, that's always rough when you have a friend who's in a different grade and they move up and you're still there. But, Danielle is no slouch in the athleticism department herself. She has been an All-American for track and field, which is basically the highest honor that a collegiate athlete can have.
Okay. Jess, in the pantheon of amazing racers, have we had track stars?
Nobody that has been explicitly labeled as track stars.
Because we've had a Survivor track star.
Yes, we have had a Survivor. Well, stars in quotes on that one with a little asterisk by it.
It did not go well.
Did not. So.
Back in Gabon, when Crystal Cox was, we got pumped up, said, okay, here we go, gold medal winning athlete, track star. And then it did not translate.
Not only did she not do very well in the challenges, she then got stripped of her medal.
So hopefully that does not happen to Jasmine and Danielle along the way.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think, they seem very athletic. They seem very bubbly. They got great personalities.
Good personality. So Jasmine, her hobbies include shopping, watching reality TV, and working out. Those are all my hobbies as well.
That's true.
Or at least one out of the three. I'll let you guys guess which one. What famous person reminds you of yourself? Kim Kardashian. And the famous person your teammate reminds you of is Kourtney Kardashian. And we have from Danielle, she has the same exact answers.
Yeah, they coordinated on this.
They coordinated.
Like, they've had long conversations about which one of them is the Kim and which one is the Kourtney.
Yeah. So they asked Danielle then about some things about herself, and of course she had the identical hobbies, except instead of working out, she likes sleeping, shopping, and reality TV. That's probably closer to my speed. I'm probably get along better with Danielle.
Yeah, those are three of my favorite things as well.
Yeah. So they asked her, what's your pet peeve about your teammate? She says, I hate when Jasmine gets dramatic about things like the weather.
That's something that's probably going to come up this season.
Like, how does Jasmine get dramatic about the weather in Riverside?
Yeah, isn't it like 75 degrees and sunny every single day of the year in Riverside?
Danielle, do you realize this is an El Nino year? Are you even thinking about that right now? What is your problem?
It's been the same weather every day for like 5 years now.
Like, bring a light jacket, for the love of God. Come on.
All right, well, I think we might be enjoying Jasmine's pet peeve about Danielle might come up a little bit more frequently. I can get annoyed when she gets obnoxious and uncontrollable.
Yeah, that can be annoying.
That I can't envision a situation in which that would not be annoying.
Anytime somebody gets obnoxious and uncontrollable, that's one of my pet peeves.
I mean, you are a father of a toddler, so imagine it's something that comes up often.
Yes, often. So that is annoying when that happens. All right. Let's talk about the Jasmine and Danielle and how we think that they're going to fare here.
Well, they have a strategy that I don't think has ever really worked out for anybody.
Okay.
And this is something that worries me about them a lot.
All right, what is it?
They said they're very, very excited about the opportunity to flirt with the hot guys.
Heyo.
And they will use their feminine wiles to get them further in the race, which works out for almost nobody.
I actually liked what they had to say, though, because I thought that they were sort of savvy about it, because they were like, there's always going to be a team of bros that are going to help out a female team, because there's sort of like, dumb guys that want to get with the women. So if we can sort of flirt with them and use it to our advantage and they help us out when we need it, I didn't feel like that was the strategy that they were going to be relying on in the race, but I felt like that was something they're going to have in their back pocket.
Yeah, as long as they keep it in their back pocket and as long as they don't take it out too often.
Yeah.
It could be okay, but
keep it in their back pocket.
Yeah, I don't want them to be like, ice kababes looking for their Afghanimals.
No, we don't want Ice Kababe Redux.
No, we do not.
With all due respect to the great Ice Kababes.
Yeah, the Ice Kababes, also professional athlete cheerleaders in LA. It's a tight-knit community.
Yeah, is that how they got on the show? They knew them?
Maybe.
Give me the name of one of the Ice Kababes.
Allie. Allie and Ashley.
You, Jess. I couldn't have done it.
Yeah, that's because we collectively referred to them as the Ice Kababes so often that at the finale party, all of the other racers were also calling them the Ice Kababes.
Oh, we made that up?
Yeah, we did. We made that up. And they picked up on it.
Well, see, we're better at these hashtags than the show is.
CBS could... We're giving this away for free, Rob, when CBS could most certainly be sparing some expenses to buy them from us.
Yeah, that's true. Charge a consulting fee at the start of the season.
Really all right. Should.
Let's take a question here. This is from Thu May, a.k.a. Matthew Bayless, who says, weren't Kisha and Jen track stars? That could bode well.
I think Jen was in track. I think Kisha was a basketball player, if I remember correctly. But he is right. That could bode well because Kisha and Jen were strong racers on both of their times on the race.
Yeah, you get a little bit of run to the mat action, drop your bag, go for it.
Yeah, you can sprint it out. If it comes down to you and another team, you're going to beat them in the foot race.
Okay, so what do you think of our track stars here?
I think they could do all right. It depends on whether that flirting thing is something that's kind of a side dish or if it's the main course.
I don't think it's the main course.
All right. Well, if it's not the main course, then I feel good about them. I feel good about their chances.
You feel good? You think they could win?
They could win.
Yeah. I feel good about them, too.
Yeah, and I think we're going to like them, too. I think they're very, very likable. They're very bubbly, and they look like they have a lot of fun with each other.
Yeah. Again, with these same-sex teams, like I'm looking for a female-female team that can do the stuff that when it's like, okay, carry like where we saw the country singers when they had to like carry a keg up the mountain and they couldn't do it. So I'm looking for a female-female team that has strength, and then in the male-male teams, I'm looking for a male-male team that can do the things that trip up the male-male teams, like do a choreographed dance.
Right, right.
So
I see
like
where
that.
you're going with this.
I like these. I like these track stars. What about rebranding? Track stars is kind of boring.
Yeah, I couldn't come up with a really good one. I like Alex G in the chat room suggests track kebabs.
Track babes. No, we're not calling them. We are not reducing them to kebabs until they deem themselves as being kebab.
I guess you have to earn the title of kebab.
Yeah. You like anything with like on the right track?
No, that's not bad.
Yeah. Okay. Let us know in the comments as well. We're going to be following this all along. We'll read the comments after this on robswebsite.com, and then we'll have our new hashtags ready to go.
Yeah, and I'll just start using them when I start live tweeting.
Yes, and it'll be good if we can come up with our official RHAP hashtags, and then when people are tweeting during the show, they could use it'll be sort of like in the RHAP nomenclature that we will be able to see then people like, oh, I couldn't believe when team, Team Plaque Attack, you turned on the right track. Track Attack. Track Attack.
Track Attack. Damn, that's pretty good.
Good job. All right. Let's keep moving along. Let's talk about the Green Team.
Okay. Now this is the team that made this suggestion to me that they would like somebody to help them come up with better hashtags because they got the most screwed in the hashtag department.
They certainly did, because if they are not in medical marijuana sales, the Green Team is a terrible name for a team.
It really is. They have to be either environmentalists or marijuana growers.
Yeah.
And I don't believe they are either.
All right, so let's talk about them. Justin and Diana. And Justin is famous for being a guy who did his own Amazing Race proposal. Jess, can you speak to this? What exactly did Justin do?
All right, well, this video did go viral, and of course, being the go-to person in RHAP land for all things Amazing Race, many people did send me this when it happened. So these two were in a long-distance relationship, and Justin staged this fake Amazing Race, complete with a camera crew, and convinced Diana that she was on this online edition of the Amazing Race where she would win a prize.
Punked?
She got semi-punked, yes. And so she had to cross state lines, she drove to all these different places, and then at a certain point she met up with Justin and he was going to be her partner on this fake online Amazing Race. And then he takes her to Boston, and when they get to Boston, he says, guess what? We won. Now we win a free trip to Iceland. And so
he said that. I mean, she wasn't like, where's the host of this show?
The host, apparently they kept opening clues, and the clues would say stuff like, congratulations, you won the race. They didn't see any other teams.
Okay, because it was an online version?
Yeah, and they were like, they're racing other teams, but they don't know who the other teams are.
Okay.
He had rules. It was complicated. But they opened the final race clue, and it says, you guys won.
She doesn't ask a lot of questions.
I think she was just excited to be doing Amazing Race stuff, and I can't blame her there. So they open the clue, it says, you guys won, you get a free trip to Iceland. And so they go to Iceland, and when they get to Iceland, he's like, surprise, I punked you, will you marry me? And she said yes.
Okay, wow. That's exciting.
The most exciting thing, I think, and I think the best ending to this story is the fact that CBS was actually paying attention and actually cast these people to be on the real Amazing Race.
Now, how recent was this?
This was, I think it was about a year ago.
Okay. Should other people be copying this? Like, should somebody like propose to somebody in a Survivor game? Like, should somebody go join like Survivor Brooklyn and then get to the final two with their significant other and propose, and then Lynn Spillman will see the tape and say, "Aha! This. I love this."
This seems like something that's only going to work once. Although they have cast people from other viral YouTube videos in the past.
Yes, but none that actually are about the show.
Yeah, like Miss Teen South Carolina has run the Amazing Race, and Kev Jumba, who at the time was the most subscribed person on YouTube, he ran the race. Oh, look at that. Justin is in the chat room. Hi, Justin.
Yes. Hello to Justin. All right.
He says he loves these two and he hopes they go far.
Yes. Yes. All right. So that's their gimmick. That's why they're here. And we will work on coming up with a better hashtag for the Green Team. So Justin, he's into photography, videography. That he is a big Amazing Race fan, obviously. He says that Bruce Willis reminds him of himself. I believe also that Diana also says that Bruce Willis reminds him. I'm sorry, no, Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, they're both, bald action stars.
There you go. All right. So he is also going to. Oh, his pet peeve is so Diana doesn't answer direct questions with direct answers.
That could be problematic. They might try to make the cryptic clue more cryptic than it is.
Yeah. Also, so Diana, she is a teacher. She is a go-getter, sensitive, and passionate. She is also that she reminds herself of Zooey Deschanel.
Okay. I could see that. She's, quirky and yeah.
She says that her pet peeve is that Justin always needs to be right.
That could be problematic.
Yes.
But, they've done a little bit of a warm-up in their, Justin staging his own Amazing Race. It's like those people on Ninja Warrior that build the Ninja Warrior course in their backyard.
I didn't know you were a Ninja Warrior aficionado.
Who isn't, Rob? Ninja Warrior is awesome.
Yes. Was that how you got engaged in a fake Ninja Warrior game?
No, not at all. I got engaged in Uruguay. And
wow.
We were not racing anybody. Like, we were doing the opposite of racing.
Okay, what is the opposite of racing?
The opposite of racing
standing
is
still?
Standing still, hanging out somewhere quiet, and eating a lot of cheese. That is the opposite.
I love the opposite of racing.
Yeah, that's.
Okay.
In fact, if they asked me what my favorite hobbies were, it'd be like, standing still, doing nothing, and eating a lot of cheese.
So, Jess, let's talk about this idea of the running the race ahead of time, because I feel like that we have seen teams in the past come into the race and say, we are prepared for everything. We've been practicing. We ran our own version of the race, and that's usually a surefire sign that they do not do well in the race. It seems like there's like a curse of trying to practice your own race.
Yeah, there is sort of the Dennis and Isabel Memorial Award for the curse of the superfan. And yeah, they, but I think here's the key difference that separates Justin and Diana from every other person that comes in here saying they're a superfan, is that they are such superfans, they know about the curse of the superfan.
Oh.
So they're getting all meta on it.
Yeah.
Like, these people, they have studied the JL rules.
Okay. So, do you feel bullish on the Green Team?
I do. I like them. I think they're also the most regular people of everybody that is on this race. And I like that about them a lot. The one thing I think could trip them up is Diana apparently thought this fake Amazing Race really was a real online Amazing Race with really specific rules.
So there could be a catfish factor here.
Yeah, she could be, she could be a little bit gullible. But maybe they've worked on that in the time leading up to the real race.
Yeah. I do feel like they'll be well liked by the other teams because they have like this meet cute story of that they were the Amazing Race. Like, do you think that'll be received well by the other teams?
What I really want to know is if anybody recognizes them. Like, what if someone says, "Oh, you were the guys that did the fake Amazing Race video"?
But so what?
I think that would foster
like, hey, you guys had a viral video already.
I think it'll foster, like, somebody that knows this video is going to be a huge fan, and they're going to bond over being huge fans.
This was more popular than Will Sims 2 singing karaoke. We know what he did.
That's not hard to do. Yeah.
But you feel like that? I don't think the other teams would care.
No, I don't think they would care, but if someone does care, I think it's going to foster goodwill. It's not going to go the other way.
Yeah. Like, we haven't talked about Team TMZ, but I would imagine that they would have known about, they know about all these other viral things that are happening.
Yeah, if anybody's going to know, it's going to be them.
I thought they'll be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna. It won't count against them.
Okay.
I think you're right about that.
Do you feel like they're positioned well to be the dating couple slash relationship that does well? Do you feel like do you like them more than Team Czech?
I like
Czech
them
Attack.
more than the Chack Attack.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think they're going to go further. I think they're going to be less inclined to bicker with each other, although they have mostly been dating long distance, which could also be a problem.
But how long is the distance? It's like New York to Philadelphia?
He has been all over the place. Like, he has worked in several different cities. He's not a morning DJ in New York. He has worked in several other cities, so it's varied over time.
And what does he do? He's a DJ?
Yeah, he's a radio producer slash DJ.
Okay. All right. So, what do you say? Arrow medium, up,
I'd say arrow up.
northeast?
Yeah, northeast. North by northwest.
Yeah.
I like them. I really, and it's not just because they have been heavily courting the RHAP bump.
Yes. Okay. Well, we like that. How's the athleticism factor here?
Oh, they look like they're in good shape.
Good
I mean,
shape.
they aren't professional athletes or professional athlete cheerleaders, but you know, they seem like they look like they run.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I feel like it could go either way. I really
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
It is hard to tell. Like I like that they are the practice team, but I feel like recent history tells me that super fandom is not a indicator of future success.
No, and it's also they've got a curse to overcome.
Yeah. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm hoping for big things out of the Green Team. Have we rebranded them?
Well, the one thing that we kept calling them at the starting line. I did not. I was watching it on Periscope on my phone. They were very tiny, but the RHAP community member who was Periscoping the whole thing was referring to them as "Be Happy, Keep Moving" because of what it says on their shirts. And so, until I knew their actual names, I would refer to them in my head as "Be Happy, Keep Moving." So that was my hashtag suggestion.
Well, that's a long hashtag.
It is a long hashtag. So we've got some good suggestions in the track room as well.
Okay. Scott St. Pierre is suggesting that CBS drops the word "the" from the hashtags.
I think so. Although
sound suggestion?
It's hard to tell because I think when you have the in front of it, it's less likely that someone's just going to use that word for a hashtag. If they're using these hashtags for tracking purposes, and P.S. we just made that a whole lot more complicated for them. You're welcome, CBS. Maybe you should pay us next time for our good suggestions.
So we don't have to come in and go back and make new hashtags.
Yeah, well, you know, like at the end of your podcast, when you determine what the hashtag is going to be for the podcast, you have to go in and make sure that everybody else is not using that hashtag for something else, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So if you take the off of there, I think it's more likely that hashtag cheerleaders or hashtag track stars or hashtag Alabama, those are going to be hashtags that other people are using. Okay. I think that's the function that the serves.
I feel like that, you know, their claim to fame here is this proposal, this amazing race game where he tricked her and then he proposed. It's a tricky proposal.
I don't know, team punked.
Team punked. All right. Well, let's leave this open. Chat room, you keep working on this, and also we want to see it in the comments. We'll land on something by Friday night.
Yeah, I like Alex G's suggestion here of hashtag pit stop love.
Pit stop love.
You know, and they are definitely, I think they are the Mike and Rochelle of this race, so I think it fits, but yeah, we'll keep working on it. We'll keep workshopping it. I promise, Justin and Diana, we are going to come up with the best hashtag anybody has ever had. Well, we'll do this for you.
It's better to underpromise and overdeliver.
All right, we will give you a hashtag that is better than hashtag the Green Team.
Yes. Keep the expectations low, Jess. All right. Yeah. Let's go to our next team. Oh, and here they are. It's Team TMZ.
Okay, Rob, do you watch TMZ?
You know, I don't watch it now, but I will say that Nicole and I used to always watch. Back before I used to spend all of my life podcasting, Jess, when I used to go to a regular job in the daytime, I would come home from work, and every night over dinner, Nicole and I watched TMZ for a solid like 2 or 3 years. We watched it all the time. I loved it because well, especially like the first 10 minutes is always solid, and then they get into some of the stuff by the end of the show that is, I don't really care about who was wearing what, but it is great. I used to love it. I just don't watch, I don't sit and watch TV at 6:30 at night anymore, or while I'm eating dinner at this point anymore. And we have a baby who's watching Mickey Mouse Clubhouse at all times of the day. But it's a great show just to have on your DVR, and it's like, oh, there's nothing else on, just watch TMZ for the day. Especially like if there's like a story going on that you'd want to watch it. Like I feel like around the time like Michael Jackson died, that was you had to watch it.
Yeah, I remember them being the ones that broke that story. But
yeah. So,
honestly, I've never seen more than 5 minutes of the show. It looks to me like the premise of the show is that it's a bunch of people in an office sitting around saying mean things about people.
yeah, it's great. It's great. I love it. And so, I mean, it almost is kind of like a podcast in some ways. And so, yeah, they'll be like talking about what's going on, and then and like it's the same people all the time, and it's like I don't know if there's a lot of turnover, but it seems like the same people have been on the show for a really long time, and so these are two recognizable people that you've seen on the show. They've been on the show forever. They're very likable on the show, Kelly and Siobhan, and I'm very pumped up about Team TMZ.
Ah, so you're a big fan, huh?
I am a big fan. Again, I don't watch it anymore, but I used to be really into it. I used to, like, Nicole and I would sit there and be like, we would get our news about everything.
So they were good on the show.
Yes, they're very good.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of women there also. That there's like it's definitely probably, and again, I haven't watched it too much recently, but it seems like it's almost like, at least like 2 or 3 to 1 in terms of guys to women that are in the office. But really excited to see them on the show because they're both funny.
Okay, yeah, I see that Kelly describes herself as the token strong female of the show.
Yes. And so they talk about, I believe Kelly says that throwing shade is her game.
Yeah, that's what they do for a living. I think that's, if you can, it's nice work if you can get it.
How will the other teams receive them?
It depends on how much television the other teams watch. Like, are they going to recognize them?
Yeah.
I guess that I have seen photos of them running the race in, like, TMZ branded gear. So
yeah.
I would imagine that if someone has seen the show a lot, they may not recognize them off the bat, but in conjunction with the logo, they will.
I'm really surprised, though, that CBS went here with a Team TMZ, sort of branded to a non-CBS property. It's also, I think, odd that this is a season where we haven't talked about them yet, but we have the Paparazzi also, which is a different team. And I think that is very unusual that we have TMZ people and also Paparazzi people who I'm sure at some point in time like are working with TMZ, which is like the biggest outlet for paparazzi.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if these people know each other.
Yeah, I wonder if they do or not, but I'm not exactly sure, and maybe we'll find that sort of stuff out as we go along. But I am excited to see them because I think they're going to be really good TV. We always like these snarky people that are on these shows. I think Kelly has a good line. They talked about what scares you most about traveling. She says, being in a country where I may be taken, my father is no Liam Neeson.
Yeah, well, like 4 people said that last season.
All right,
I think people have an overinflated sense of the frequency with which people get taken.
Kelly's pet peeve about Siobhan, and she says that she never offers me any M&Ms when she gets herself a bag ever. I always do, and she never does.
I couldn't run the race with this girl.
Okay. What? Do you need M&Ms?
I need someone to share their M&Ms. I think Kelly and I would get along great, but Siobhan, if she's not sharing her M&Ms, she's out. She's off the island.
Okay. We also have that Kelly was followed by Barack Obama on Twitter.
She must be pretty good on Twitter.
I guess so. Now, how many people does Barack Obama follow? So I guess that's really...
That is a good question.
Yes.
Can someone in the chat room get on this? Because
I'm on it. Okay. Barack Obama follows 640,000.
Okay. Well, now I feel slighted.
Yes.
He doesn't follow me. I follow him.
I mean, that's still good. That's still pretty good.
Yeah. I mean,
You know, right?
that is like
640,000.
1% of the people that follow him, right?
Yeah. And then also we have Siobhan, that she likes to exercise, reading, and talking about TV and socializing. She feels like she's most like Mindy Kaling. She's technically the post-production supervisor at TMZ. And she also does not like it when Kelly doesn't answer questions with direct answers. Oh, we have a match.
Yeah, there's been a lot of this.
Yeah. So we should have... So what should we have? Should we have then that Justin should have married Siobhan?
Well, you know, if it doesn't work out. I
Yeah.
think he really wants it to work out, though, because I don't think he's got it in him to, like, drop another $3,000 on another proposal.
What about like some sort of like paparazzi proposal?
Yeah, I feel like there's a portmanteau to be made there that I'm just not getting to.
Yeah, okay. So let's talk about them, because I'm interested to get your take, Jess, on how you think Team TMZ will do. We know they'll be good TV.
Yeah, absolutely. That is not in
Is
doubt.
their heart going to be in this?
That is the other question. Like, are they in this because they love the show, or are they in this because it's great exposure?
I didn't see anything about I love the show. I see that they said we're going to have fun and cash the check. We're here for the money. I mean, I didn't hear too much about that they love Amazing Race.
Yeah, I didn't get that. Like, I don't even think they named the show they're going to be on. That could be problematic. Like, if they're not there, if they're not really there to risk it for the biscuit, you know, it could be tough.
Right. Are they willing to, you know, make themselves look dumb at times, or like, you know, we're wearing costumes and being? Are they all in on being on the Amazing Race?
Where is their dignity at here?
Yes, because too much is not a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's a fine line, because you don't want to have not enough either.
Yeah.
But I think it really remains to be seen. Like, if they're really into it, if they have the right attitude, I think I will like them a lot more than if I get the sense that they're just like, every single confessional they're relating it back to, you know, like, when we're on TMZ, it's very much like this thing where we are pulling an ox with a plow. I couldn't deal with that. So
What about like a lot of like celebrity jokes of like, this is crazier than Lindsay Lohan? Like, will that annoy you?
you know, I don't think I know who half the celebrities on TMZ are anymore, because I think I've aged out of that demographic.
Yes.
So they'll probably be referring to people that are on, like, were on the Disney Channel 5 years ago, and I'm not going to know. And so they'll just be dropping names. I'm like, are you just shouting out to your friends or what here?
Yeah. I'm excited for them. I don't think that it's going to go great for them, but I just really hope that they stick around for a long time and are really funny on this show.
Yeah, I also have in my notes for each of these teams, I have written down who's the fan.
Yeah.
And for this one, I have neither.
Probably
Like,
neither.
I would be surprised if either one of them has actually ever seen this show until CBS put it in their hands.
Yeah. Also, Scott St. Pierre is telling me, so there is some synergy between TMZ, which is owned by Warner Brothers, and CBS.
Yeah, well, and you know, in the past, when they've had people on who have been on other shows and who go on to be on other shows, they always shout out back to The Amazing Race. And,
Yeah.
like, even with the YouTube people, whenever somebody with a YouTube channel goes on, they do little recaps on YouTube. So I think they're hoping for a little bit of cross-promotional synergy here.
Okay, synergy.
I would not be surprised if TMZ now has a regular Amazing Race segment for the duration of their time on the race.
Okay. Yeah, well, especially if they do something wacky.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. They
All
could
right.
be their own fodder for snark.
So I am very much looking forward to seeing them, but I worry about them that I don't know ultimately if they are well suited here for the Amazing Race.
I do not believe they are threats to win.
Yeah. All right. Let's take our next team, and here they are. It's Kelsey and Joey.
Yeah. I have. Well, here's the hashtag for them that I'm not gonna use. Hashtag Dollar Store John and Jacqueline.
Oh, come on.
That was who I thought it was for like the first 2 seconds on the Periscope. I'm like,
Dollar
They
Store
get-
John and
should
Jacqueline.
they get John and Jacqueline? And they're like, no, these are different people.
Yeah.
But the more I've seen of them, the more I like their attitude.
So Kelsey and Joey, so they are both anchors at the same TV station
Well, he is
in.
an anchor and she is a reporter.
I'm sorry. Okay, so he is the anchor and she is the reporter in Santa Barbara.
Yeah,
And
he is the Pat Kiernan and she is the Roger Clark.
right. And so they are dating. They're actually very young. Like you would imagine, like when you talk about news anchor, you would think that they're somewhat older, but they're what, 25 and 26 respectively.
Yeah, well, they're in a small market. I can see that.
I mean, it's Santa Barbara. It's not like they're in like some place that's like so off the map.
Yeah, they're not in like Montana.
No, we that.
Hey,
Someplace,
I'm allowed to do that.
yeah. It's hard to pick on any place when we have a planet of people that watch the show.
That's very true, but I
That's
think
right.
you're allowed to make fun of where you're from. So
That's right. So we have the two of them, and I think this is going to be interesting because I wonder how much are they going to, like, when you're an anchor, when you're like somebody that's on the news, you have to sort of like, you can't be like Ron Burgundy out there. You have to sort of like have some sort of like a very sort of plain exterior where you don't want to come off like too much of a kook on the show where like people see that you're like this very flawed person. They want to have like their anchors and people like they want them to be like funny-ish but not like crazy. Like if she comes off or if he comes off like a total lunatic, that's going to really hurt their careers, right?
yeah, well, it's kind of like Conan O'Brien has a segment every now and then where he finds a piece of dialogue that all of the news anchors across the country are all using, and then he like splices together like everybody kind of using this lame joke that the Central News Agency has given them to say.
Yeah.
And it is like you can't show too much personality there, or you risk compromising the integrity of the news. Like you are just a conduit, and you have to be pretty bland.
Right. And don't embellish your stories too much.
Yeah.
Okay, got that, news people? But so here we go. So Kelsey and Joey. So we have that Joey apparently does lose his patience very quickly.
That's gonna be problematic, but it's also gonna be pretty good television.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of news job he'll have once he like flips out on somebody and starts screaming at them, but
It's also odd that of all of the teams, maybe outside of Ernest and Jin, they're the team that seem to say they need the money the most. They say they can't even afford an apartment together.
you would think that moving in together would save you money because you can get a one-bedroom and it's cheaper than sharing a two-bedroom with people.
They say that people think they have money because they're on TV, but they actually have no money. They make no money.
Yeah, well, a lot of the money has gone out of television.
But
news.
are they interns at the TV station?
I don't think so. I think they are full-fledged reporters, but I also don't think that you make a whole lot of money doing that. It's not a, unless you are like Katie Couric, you don't make a ton of money.
I mean, I get that, but they don't. I feel like that the two of them that they don't have can't afford an apartment.
Yeah, that seems weird to me because
On two salaries. I mean, people have like one person in the house bringing in money. They can afford an apartment. They're not living in their car like Ernest.
Yeah. I don't know. Real estate is expensive in Santa Barbara. It is kind of an upmarket place. So maybe that's what they're having trouble finding a cheap apartment.
I guess so. They asked Joey, what scares you most about traveling? He said, Ebola and terrorism.
Because the Amazing Race frequently takes people to hotbeds of Ebola and terrorism. That's going to be one of the detours on this season.
Would you like to go to in Hot Zone? Teams will work with Ebola victims and try to get them to a nearby hospital. In Cold Zone, teams will sell ice cream to the native.
To the local ISIS chapter.
Yeah. ISIS? Oh no. I said ice cream, not ISIS.
Okay.
That's why it's the Cold Zone, Jess.
Yeah, I see. And everybody chooses ice cream over Ebola. And like one team tries to choose Ebola because they think maybe if they take that risk, they'll get ahead of everybody else, but they just end up getting
we could do this fast. We could do this fast. Okay, so just tell me about Kelsey.
I think Kelsey, she seems like she's up for anything. Like, she seems pretty game. Like, she is excited about the adventure. She has a great attitude. If I had to say who is the fan, I'm not sure that either one of these people is really a fan, but if one of them is, it's her.
Yeah. Yeah, how did they end up on The Amazing Race?
It's possible that they were recruited. They are in Southern California. They do have an interesting job. They do have, a pretty good hook to hang it on. I see that she's a lot more outgoing than he is, which is interesting. Like, she has more of a bubbly personality, which I guess makes sense. Like, if she's the field reporter, she's got to have that.
Yeah. So how are you feeling about this pair?
I'm feeling really good about this pair. I think
you feel really good about them.
This is our young dating couple that goes far.
Whoa.
I
don't see it. I feel like they're going to be sort of afraid to go all in, like we were talking about with Team TMZ.
Yeah, they may. In fairness, they may have trouble with their dignity, but I also think that she has the right attitude, at least, and I think she could probably coerce him into having the right attitude.
Right, and with Team TMZ, I'm worried about, like, I'm not sure how they're going to be, how into it they're going to be. In terms of the reporters, I'm worried about that they're like, well, I can't, I can't wear a silly costume. I can't, dress like a. Well, was it last season that they made the men dress like women in Thailand?
Oh yeah, the Ladyboy Challenge.
Yeah, please. If they see me like this, how will I be a respected news anchor?
Yeah, but sometimes they make your like local news reporters do some pretty silly things in the name of like conveying an important local story. So they might have some experience with that. It might go okay for them. It might turn out to them nice.
Okay, we'll see. Yeah, I don't feel great about them. You like them?
I like them. I like them a lot. I think they're gonna go far.
Okay, we'll see. And you know what? They need the money.
Yeah, and it's like I said. If we see them on the show talking about how they need the money, they're going
Watch
far.
out. Anybody, episode 1, they talk about they need the money, boom.
Boom.
Although, Jess, I feel like sometimes they talk about a team's struggle, and then it's the episode where they get kicked off.
Sometimes. Well, it's one or the other. Like, if that team says something about, like, a tragic past or needing the money, and then they don't go home that episode, they're sticking around for a while.
Okay. It's a 2-part thing to turn the key.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to talking about our next team here.
Yeah, but we didn't come up with a new hashtag for these people.
Oh, what, instead of the reporters?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you want to do? Team something with news?
Yeah, I have News Team Assemble.
News Team Assemble. I feel like some sort of like, news, some anchor.
Yeah. Well, we'll workshop that one.
Yeah.
Chat room, go to it. We can move on to the paparazzi.
All right, let's move on to our Team Paparazzi. Again, we have Team TMZ. We have the hashtag The Paparazzi, not Team Paparazzi. Why go with hashtag The Paparazzi as opposed to hashtag Team Paparazzi? Is that one extra letter the difference?
Yeah, I mean, paparazzi is a surprisingly long word. Like, that's 9 letters. And
I just feel like that The Paparazzi has a much bigger chance to be used by other people in different unrelated situations to The Amazing Race, whereas Team Paparazzi I feel like would be a pretty unique hashtag.
Yeah, I think, again, this is not very well thought out on the part of CBS.
Okay.
And I think putting team in front of all of them might be better than putting the in front of all of them.
Yeah, so here we are. It's The Paparazzi. They compete often against other paparazzi, and Logan, they call her the pinup paparazzi. I have a friend who is actually a former pinup model.
Do you now?
Yes.
Are you sure that friend is the term you want to use here? Because I heard she's kind of mad at you.
So here they are. And
how'd that turn out to you, Rob?
Not so nice. But we have the pinup paparazzi, Logan. She gets in a bikini and then goes take paparazzi pictures. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I guess that's probably better than, like, if she's got it, she should flaunt it.
So like Jennifer Aniston goes to the beach and is like thinks nothing of, oh, there's another woman over there in a bikini. Well, just another beach goer, and then she takes out the camera like, oh, foiled.
Where is she keeping the camera, Rob?
Or she has a gym bag with her.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
I have that their occupation is described, like, I have described it as they bother people for a living.
Well, they bother one person, but they make many more people happy.
Yes, I guess so. They're bringing joy to the masses.
Somebody has to get all those TMZ videos that entertain me and Nicole while we eat dinner.
I guess so. You might have to start watching TMZ again, Rob.
I would love to. I mean, I'm telling you, it's just a great show just to have on the DVR. It's like, okay, what else? You don't have to pay attention to the plot. You can come in and out, and it's like, oh, what's going on today? And then after 5-10 minutes, like, oh, nothing's really going on today.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I gotta say, I was not prepared to like these people as much as I do. Like,
You love them.
they're entertaining. Their survey answers are, or at least her survey answers are really, really funny.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, what's so funny about them?
I like that she thinks of herself as, like, she has a very long answer for what famous person reminds her of herself. I guess she knows a lot of famous people. She has to think about this hard. And she says that she thinks she's most like Daria, which, that speaks to me. I mean, I guess we're the same age, so we have the same pop culture frame of reference. But and she says that she's most afraid of diarrhea.
Yes.
And she says her teammate is most like the Tasmanian devil because he's like a bull in a china shop.
Well, you left out the first part where she said maybe he's like a young Patrick Swayze.
But I didn't think that was as accurate, so I didn't go there.
And to be fair, that is you'd much rather be like a young Patrick Swayze.
Well, than an old Patrick Swayze.
Yes.
I guess Dirty Dancing Patrick Swayze versus
Current. Right.
Patrick Swayze is dead, Rob.
He is. Yes, he is, Jess.
Yeah, versus
I am fully aware of that fact.
Okay. Versus like Donnie Darko Patrick Swayze, you know.
And then what about Chris?
What about Chris? He has some very specific hobbies.
Yes.
I like that he says that his teammate looks like Amanda Peet and acts like Grumpy Cat.
Yes.
That could be fun television if that's accurate. I'm all in. And I like that, you know, he's into mid-century modern objects. That's an interesting hobby that nobody else has had.
Yes.
He has personality. Like, these guys, they have some personality to them. They're not just like every team in this demographic that have been cast.
You know what? I think they're going to have a big advantage in one area, and it's always something that you hear the Amazing Race teams allude to, but it never is really part of the show. But the camera people. I think that they are going to be one with their camera crew.
That is a good point.
And you always hear that it seems like, oh, we have the worst camera crew. They slowed us down, and you're not allowed to run if the camera crew can't keep up. I feel like that they are going to be able to really be kindred spirits with their camera crew.
Yeah, and there are definitely, I have heard tales of like camera people always being excited to work with one team or really not liking another team. And I don't think the camera people ever deliberately sandbag anybody, but if the camera people like you, I think it's better to have them like you than not.
Absolutely.
And I think these people are also, like, they're going to know the little tricks, like, you know, how to get releases out of people and how to approach strangers and get help from them. Yeah. I think these are going to be key skills that don't really get talked about either.
Now, I think they're the oldest team or the most experienced team going. Does that maybe dampen your enthusiasm for them?
Not necessarily. And I mean, Denise is older than Chris is by several years. Well, although they are the oldest team on average.
Yeah.
So I think they seem like they are in pretty decent shape. Like, if she's hanging out with celebrities in Miami in a bikini, she's probably in okay shape.
Okay. All right.
And, you know, they're not that old. 36 is not that old, Rob.
Believe me, I know.
I know you do.
So, talk to me about the team name, hashtag the paparazzi.
Um,
Can we improve this?
I want to do something with Grumpy Cat because I love that reference, but I don't know exactly what would be better.
Anything, can we shorten the PAPS?
Yeah, that might be a little bit better for hashtag purposes. CBS should have been thinking about that too.
Yeah, I think that would have been better because it's very hard to spell paparazzi.
Yeah, it is. Like, you don't know how many R's, how many
That's like
C's,
actually
how many
like a
B's.
spelling bee word.
It's a 5th grade spelling bee word, but one nonetheless.
So is there anything with with shooting, photogs?
Hashtag, where are you hiding that camera?
Yeah. All right. So we will also continue to work on that. We're just starting the conversation today. I wish I would have had more time to prepare. I would really
and also, I don't think we have enough.
Today.
Yeah, we don't have enough information to really choose a hashtag that really fits. We need to see them in action before we can make a determination.
Okay.
And also,
right.
After the first episode, we'll have a better sense, and there will also be one less team, so that saves us some work.
Let's move on and talk about Team Texas.
Okay, if we must.
Yes, here we are, Jess. Let's talk about Team Texas. Tanner and Josh, they are two bros who they knew each other in high school. They knew of each other in high school, but they went to college and they became best friends.
Yeah, I'm guessing from all the orange they must have gone to UT, but I don't know for sure. They never said.
Okay, so here they are, and they're best friends. We now have Tanner. He works in pharmaceutical sales, while we have also Josh sells medical devices.
So if they teamed up, they could outfit a whole hospital.
They certainly could. So here they are, and they're ready to go. And they say that one guy, Tanner, he reminds himself of Matthew McConaughey. That's who he relates to as a person. Yep. And he says that his friend, Josh, reminds him of a poor man's Dan Bilzerian.
Okay. Is that a sports reference?
No, he's an Instagram superstar.
Instagram.
Yes, he's
you can be a superstar on Instagram now.
He's one of the most popular people on Instagram.
Okay.
And actually, and the Amazing Race connection is going back to the Miami Realtors back in 25, Jess. That I believe that one of the reasons, was it Liese? Was that her name? That she was married to Drew Rosenhaus, and then they got into the ugly divorce, and then part of the problem there was that she was taking bikini pictures on Instagram on Dan Bilzerian's boat.
Wow. Who needs TMZ, Rob? We got you.
Yeah, it's all connected. Maybe that's how these guys got on the show.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have this team every season. I feel like these guys have been on the race 26 other times.
All right. Well, give us the scouting report on the Texas Bros.
Well, they are... under Who's the Fan, I have neither one.
Neither one.
I would be surprised if these guys have seen an episode of this show in their lives.
Well, how did guys like this get recruited?
They're good-looking dudes. They're probably on the social media, or they're, at the right beach or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Or Jody Winchesky runs into one of them on a flight.
Southwest flight, yeah.
Yeah. Which has happened to several people.
Yes.
And she's just like, you're good looking. Do you have a good looking friend? All right, you're hired.
Right.
That's how a lot of them happen. I don't know. I haven't been following her to see who she is.
She just did a Reddit AMA.
Yeah, I know. I haven't been following
people can ask her who she found on this Amazing Race season.
Yeah, so I haven't been up on that.
Jacob on Lost.
Yeah.
Anyway, so these guys are also both pretty religious guys. They both talk about their faith.
Yeah, and about visiting God's creation.
Yeah, they're all about it.
Yeah, I mean, it can only help you because it makes you feel confident in yourself if you think you have a higher power behind you.
So, Jess, are you bullish about these guys?
I'm bullish about these guys. I think they are going to go pretty far. I would say they are threats to win.
Okay. Are they your head pick for the season?
I think it's between them and the news people.
Yes.
I think these guys are my head pick.
Yes, your pick that you aren't rooting for them to win, but you think that in typical Amazing Race fashion, they will go far.
I think they will go far. Which
yeah.
we know what that is, a thinly coded message for what I'm saying.
All right. So we also have that Tanner is his pet peeve about Josh is his hair, because it has to be perfect at all times. It deserves its own Instagram account. Much like Dan Bilzerian.
Yeah, these guys, I think they have Instagram.
Yeah, they do.
Okay. I don't follow, I don't use Instagram very much, so I don't follow these people. I'll try to friend them on Facebook and get them on the Twitter, but I have not been looking at their Instagrams.
Okay. What about Team Texas? Do you like that?
No. We've had Team Texas before.
Yeah, I feel like, haven't we had Team Texas before?
I think we have.
Yeah. What about Texas Bros?
Yeah, Texas Bros is pretty good. The one I suggest is those guys, because we have those guys every season.
I love those guys.
Yeah, those guys.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, seems like these guys should do well.
Yeah, they're gonna do great. They're gonna rock it.
They're gonna do well. All right.
And I don't know. It remains to be seen how I'm gonna feel about that. If I'm gonna like them, or if I'm gonna think they're boring and should be gone.
We'll see. We'll see. All right. Now here's another team I'm very excited to talk about. Here we are. They're hashtag the cheerleaders.
I feel like that one has to have been used before as well.
I think so.
I love that photo, though. That is a great photo.
It's a great photo. Here they are, Tiffany and Krista, former NFL cheerleaders, but not just any. Yes, not just any former NFL cheerleaders. They picked the right team to cheerlead for, as far as Rob the podcast is concerned, because they are former part of the New York Jets flight crew.
All right, Gang Green.
Yes, here they are.
I'm going to go for the low blow here, Rob.
Don't.
I hope they race better. Jess. I hope they race better than the actual Jets.
Jets are 1-0.
I know.
Come on.
This season.
What are you a Giants fan?
My husband is a Giants fan. I don't understand football.
So you're throwing shade. You don't even have a horse in the race.
It's true. I really don't.
Yeah. Can't do that. Cannot do that.
All right. So my summary of their video is being a cheerleader is hard, guys.
Yeah. They said people underestimate us because cheerleading is hard. You have to go to cheerleading camp, training camp.
Yeah, and you have to, it's not just shaking your pom-poms. It involves a lot of athleticism.
Yeah, and you know what, though? In fairness to them, do you know how hard it is to be a cheerleader for the New York Jets? Do you know how hard it is to make people happy that are sitting there who paid money to watch the Jets? Those are some pretty unhappy people, Jess. And it's your job to make them smile. Do you know how hard that is? After Geno Smith just threw 3 interceptions in the first 5 minutes of a game? And it's your job to make these people happy?
So I'm guessing that would be a bad thing. And
they are used to adversity, these two.
Okay. So this might be the triumph over adversity team.
Yes, yes.
It must be hard to maintain that, that strength of spirit in the face of so much desolation and destruction.
They have been through a lot, these two.
All right, because Rob, they're not currently Jets cheerleaders.
They're not currently
that sweet taste of 1-0.
Well, look, yeah, there's only so long that you could do that for, and it really wears you down, and even being associated with this franchise.
Yeah, I don't know. If I had to pick a football team, I'd be a Bears fan because there's a guy from my hometown who plays for the Bears.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's my rationale.
Is it Jay Cutler?
No.
Oh.
Mariani is his name. Mark Mariani. Okay. So that's who I root for.
And so then we also have that they currently now, we have Tiffany. She is a consultant for some sort of a healthcare firm.
Yep.
And then we have Tiffany, and she is What does she do?
She's a speech pathologist.
Speech pathologist.
Krista
That's
is a
good.
speech pathologist, and Tiffany is the medical consultant who copied and pasted her LinkedIn job description onto her Amazing Race questionnaire.
Right. Also, they had a very bizarre match in terms of who is your other partner remind you of. So we had Tiffany reminds herself of Brooke Burke, and I'm sorry, Tiffany reminds herself of Brooke Burke, and Krista, I called her Tiffany because that was actually I got them confused. I apologize, Tiffany and Krista. Tiffany, she said that she reminds herself of Brooke Burke, and Krista reminds her of Leah Remini.
That's oddly specific, and you can tell they collaborated on this.
Yes, because they had the exact same answers for the other one.
I mean, maybe it's a plus if you collaborate on your questionnaire. It means that you're of one mind, and you want to go into this and with a single-minded intensity.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're spending more time on the questionnaire than you are on thinking about the actual race.
Yes. I believe Leah Remini on The King of Queens, that she played the wife of Kevin James, who I believe was a Jets fan on The King of Queens.
You're really reaching here, Rob.
Yeah, so maybe that's what it is. Or maybe they're Scientologists.
Maybe. One thing that struck me about them is that they told us in their video how funny they are. They said that they're incredibly funny, and you know what I say about this, Rob? If you have to tell us that you are, you probably aren't.
Yeah. If you have to declare it, it's not good. So what do you think? What's the upside for the cheerleaders?
There have been a lot of cheerleaders on this show, Rob.
Yep.
And it's a tried and true tradition, and a lot of them make it very far.
Okay.
So I would say attitude is going to play into this a lot.
With cheerleading.
Yeah, as with cheerleading. And as with cheerleading, they're going to be athletic. They're going to run into that choreography challenge. They're going to ace it. That's always something that comes up.
Better upside here than Team Miami Realty.
Definitely. Realty never once came into play on that show.
Do you see a matchup here with Team Texas?
I could see that happening.
I mean, well, tell me, do you think that we're going to see this be a showmantic pair?
They are open to the idea, I would guess.
All right, well then match them up. Is it Team Texas? Is it #the dancers? Because we know that Ernest loves the ladies.
That's true.
What about the cousins?
They could form an alliance with the cousins.
Yeah.
I mean, it all depends on where everybody's football loyalties lie.
Be interesting. Have we ever had a love? What would be not a triangle?
Like a double date.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about have we ever had say for instance, hypothetically, here's the track stars and the cheerleaders both have their eyes on Team Texas.
I don't think that's ever happened.
Oh, that would be the best season of Amazing Race of all time.
That could be entertaining.
I think that would be very exciting.
Yeah, I would.
Right.
I would watch that.
I probably feel the same about the team, the cheerleaders, as I feel about the prospects for the Jets this season.
Really? So that's you're a little bit bullish on them.
Yeah.
Or bearish.
I'm thinking of them kind of like no, that's you. You're bearish.
I'm bearish. You're bullish.
No, I'm Jetsish. I'm feeling kind of like a 5-11-ish run for the cheerleaders.
All right, so middle of the road.
Middle of the road. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I think this is another team I really don't get a good sense of them. I need to see them in action. I need to see how they face some stuff before I really make a call on them. But I do think, I'm not getting a great feeling from them yet, and that could change. I do note that that Krista is kind of from the Kat Ederson school of social media.
Ooh.
If you tweet at Amazing Race, chances are she will favorite your tweet.
Yes.
So she's very, very active on the Twitter.
Okay. Yeah, and Instagram too.
Yes, and the Instagram, which I don't know, I don't look at the Instagram, but I will take your word for it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, we have some cheerleader questions from Scott, who also wants to let us know Leah Remini did leave the Church of Scientology.
Yes, she's been very vocally anti-Scientology.
Okay. John Johnston wants to know, will Tiffany and Krista be a badass as Jamie and Kara?
They have it in them, I think. Their potential is there. I don't know. I have an easier time telling them apart than I ever did Jamie and Kara. So there's that.
Yeah, because Tiffany is tall.
Yeah, that's how you tell them apart. They're like dark-haired Jen and Caroline.
And then we also have from Jeremiah Yap, who wants to know, could they do as well as Jamie and Kara from Unfinished Business?
Yeah, they could. Everybody seems to be making that comparison, so.
Okay. All right, we'll see. We will see. All right, Jess. We've talked about our 11 teams. Now it's time to get down to it. Talk about making a pick for the winner of the Amazing Race.
All right. Well, as you know, I make a head pick and a heart pick.
Okay.
I am going for. I think my head pick. The team I think is going to win. I'm going for Tanner and Josh.
Tanner and Josh, head pick.
Yep. Heart pick, Justin and Diana.
Justin and Diana, heart pick. Okay.
So how about you, Rob? Where are you at with this?
You know, I really didn't have. I sort of feel like pretty lukewarm on most of the teams, for the most part. And there's not one team that I'm really like that I fell in love with.
Yeah, again, it's hard to tell from what we were given.
This is tricky. I don't know. I feel like I got a good feeling from Shack Attack.
Shack Attack! That is a surprise.
I feel like it's the destiny for a dentist to win this eventually. One of these seasons, the dentist is going to win these shows.
One of these seasons, it's going to be their time in the sun.
The prophecy of Jim and Missy must be completed. What do you think of that?
Well, I think Jim and Misty are going to be upset if they're not the best finishing dentists ever.
Best dentists of all time. All right. Jess, that's it for our Amazing Race preview. We'll be back this Friday night, or one week from tomorrow. I'm already there in my mind because I'm so excited.
Yeah, I am too. I'm very excited.
We'll be there 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time to talk about it and take your questions live as we go along here. You can subscribe to Rob as a podcast. Go to robasawebsite.com/iTunes or go to robasawebsite.com/RSS feed for the RSS version of it, or you can subscribe, just get the RHAP app at robasawebsite.com/app, available for iOS and Android.
That's fantastic. By all indications, Rob, this is going to be a great season, and I'm really excited to be on board with you.
Good. Well, I'm very excited, Jess. My favorite person in the world to talk about the Amazing Race with. Jess, if it wasn't for you, this would be a tricky ride for me.
You wouldn't be watching the Amazing Race at all if you didn't have to cover it with me.
You know what? I think that look, before you were in my life, was I talking about this show?
Well, Brenchel were on it.
Yes, Brenchel was on it. But believe me, if I had to try to talk about Amazing Race with Nicole, forget about it. We would not be podcasting about Amazing Race 27.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to have contributed to the longevity of your Amazing Race coverage, and I hope that we continue to move onward and upward.
All right. Hopefully we will have our Amazing Race exit interviews again this season, so we're all ready to go.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that. I think we're going to have a lot of fun.
Yes. Jess, how do people listen to your coverage of Amazing Race Canada?
Well, there's a couple of different ways. We are in the regular Amazing Race feed, so if you are subscribed to the Rob Has a Podcast Amazing Race feed, chances are you're already getting those podcasts. And you can also
website.com/TAR podcast.
That's the one. You can also subscribe to the Reality RHAP-Ups feed, which has not only Amazing Race Canada, but many other fine programs that Rob is not compelled to watch. And there are many great people in the community that present podcasts on a variety of shows, many foreign editions of reality shows if you follow that sort of thing. So Reality RHAP-Ups, and I think that shortcut is /RHAP-Ups.
Yep, RHAPUPS.
Yep, that's how you do that.
Okay. All right. Well, Jess, great work today. Tomorrow we've got coming out, we are dropping Chapter 29 of the Evolution of Strategy, Jess, if you can believe it.
You're almost to the finish line.
Yeah, almost to the finish line. Survivor San Juan del Sur. That's coming up. And then we're also going to drop our Worlds Apart chapter before the premiere of Survivor 31. So that's going to be, we're going to get 2 chapters out on Evolution of Strategy. If you want to go and check that out, go to evolutionofstrategy.com. Of course, you can get chapter 1 completely for free there. Jess, what is the hashtag for this episode of the podcast?
Were we gonna go with Damon-esque?
Yes. Easier to spell than paparazzi.
Definitely easier to spell than paparazzi.
What,
but if you
what
want
grade spelling bee word is that? Damon-esque.
Damon-esque, that's like a 3rd grade spelling bee.
3rd grade spelling bee. Good.
If you have a grasp on etymology and celebrity, you're gonna be golden.
Okay. Also, we need your help coming up with hashtags for these teams that are really good. Go to robhaswebsite.com. Leave us your comments on the page there. And Jess, you know, I set it all up at the top of the show. We got a lot coming up. We got a lot coming up to close out Big Brother. A lot coming up to kick off Survivor. Amazing Races around the corner. It's an exciting time to talk about reality TV.
It's really, we're entering a new golden age, a new renaissance, if you will.
I think so. All right, follow Jessica Liese on Twitter. She's at Haymaker Hattie. She did a great job tonight. She always does, at Haymaker Hattie. That's Haymaker, Hattie. I'm at Rob Cesternino. Looking forward to hearing from you guys on Twitter all throughout the season. It makes it so much more fun to talk with you guys along the way as we kick off another season of The Amazing Race. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll talk to you again soon. Take care.